this life? Well, I suppose a lot of you know what this life is all about. So, I'm going to present a different view of this life. A Buddhist view. A different view. Well, the important thing is how we view life. It's very important because however we view life, we live the way it is. If we view that, well, this life, I'm here mainly to enjoy myself, do my best, and see what comes next. That's pretty good. If you think, well, this life I'm going to achieve something, I'm going to become somebody, I'm going to contribute to the world, you know? You say, oh, this life, there must be a meaning to this life. I'm going to find out what's this about, why I'm here, you know? Not just enjoying, achieving things. There must be something meaningful. Because there are lots of wise people arising in the world in the past that tells us, you know, there's something more than life, you know. It can become something better. There is something beyond this life, you know. And then there are some who say, well, this is not the only life. There are life after this. And then people say, well, there's this life. After that, either you make it or you don't make it, you know. Either you make it or you've had it, you know. It's either ultimate happiness or ultimate suffering. Or people say, well, we are all just functions of chemicals, you know. When we are dead, that's it, you know. Well, I'm going to start from the stage where we, if you like, consciousness descend onto a fetus. That's about that's the starting point. Because it has, in Buddhism, it has implication. The reason is this: when the mother and father come together, we have like a fetus. Now, in Buddhist thought that for a fetus to become a baby, there has to be a consciousness. This consciousness descended onto a fetus, and if consciousness do not descend, there might be a miscarriage, whatever. But there has to be a consciousness. Now, for us to believe that, we have to see in our own life that we have a body and mind, right? Now, if we think that we only have bodies, then mind is something, well, we're not sure whether it really exists or not. But for most people who practice meditation, they come to understand that there's something called the body and there's something called the mind. And the mind affects the body affects the mind. And for people who don't believe in the mind, very difficult to understand something called dreams, What's the purpose of dreams and why are there dreams, If you just function at night, you could rest. You don't need dreams. So there is, in Buddhist thought, that body and mind. And the mind comes to function with the body at a very early stage when the consciousness descended into the fetus. We can think of the DNA that we receive from our parents are just materials and a plan, right? Kind of a material and plan to build a house, right? Well, we got shape of our eyes, shape of the eyes, color of the eyes, you can think of it as the windows, doors or whatever. But the building of the house, which use the material and the plan, will also depend on the builder, right? If you have a builder who is very in-depth, who give all materials, good materials and everything, you will come out with an lopsided house, right? Depends on the builder. So it depends on the temperament of the builder, you want to build in a hurry, whatever, the builder is important of the house. So we can think that when a fetus evolves into a baby, the consciousness modifies, this plan a little bit. And within the consciousness itself, it contains what Buddhists believe are volitions, karma, tendencies, predisposition, and all this, right, of energies, shape, if you like, our synapses and appearances. So that's how we are formed at the very early stages. Sometimes we find that, we are totally different from our siblings, even though we have, sometimes that we have same DNA from our parents, but we are totally different, in personality, sometimes in our figure, we may be taller, we may be shorter, different, I mean, in my family, I have 2 brothers and a younger sister, and we are all totally different. Totally different, I don't know, we are all totally different. So at the very beginning, we were shaped differently, we were shaped differently. So we, if you like, we inherited something that's already there, that's in the consciousness. Tendencies. In which family we are born, where we are born, will start shaping our conditioning, who we are, how we see the world. So from the stage of a fetus with consciousness descending, up to any time in our life, we are continually being conditioned. Right? The moment we are born, we are conditioned by the environment we are in. Right? Prior to that, how long we are going to live in this life is also conditioned by our life forces. our health, our physical attribute, our strength and everything, those are our conditions. Both from the DNA and what's within the consciousness. So we can't say that we are conditioned beings. That's one thing we know. We are conditioned beings. And that being, it's very, our conditioning are very important. One thing I'm sure, if I've been born in very poor circumstances or in a bad environment, I'm pretty sure I'll turn out very badly. That's one thing I know. Because conditionings are very strong, you know. If I'm deprived of things I like, you know, and my craving for things I like is very strong, I'm sure I'll pretty go out and get it, you know. That's one thing I'm sure, because craving is very strong. We understand, we come to in this century, we come to understand that most of the problem that exists in the world comes through poverty, you know, comes to the condition in which people live. And one of the things that we try to do is improve people's lives, change the conditioning, so that we can change people, you know. Then again, where we were born also depends on, if you like, our karma. I'll come to that later. So what can we do with all these conditionings that we have? Right? In Buddhism, there is the one of the most important theory, law in Buddhism is called dependent origination. It means that whatever that comes into being depends on what comes before. Simple as that. And in this line, the most important thing is contact. Right? Whatever we come in contact with, feeling arises. And that feeling is conditioned. We come across the object that we're in contact with, whether it's visual object or sound object. In the past, if we have come across it, we develop a particular feeling for it. We like this person, we don't like this person, we like this music, we don't like this music. So the next minute, through contact, the feeling arises. When the feeling arises, the next thing that comes out is craving or aversion. Yeah, I'm going to talk to this person. Well, I'm not going to talk to this person. I'm going to not go near to him. Oh, you know, can they switch off this music? It's irritating. You know, that's the aversion that comes out. Or just stop to listen, enjoy yourself, enjoy the music. You know, well, let's go enjoy this piece of music. So from craving comes clinging, attachment, right? So you start talking to this person and you forget about everything, you forget what's supposed to be doing the particular day or you know. So it's attachment or this aversion for this music. And we carry this aversion, this clinging, attachment. When we go home, we just say, wow, I shouldn't have played this music in this supermarket, it's horrible. Spoils my day. These days is spoiled. You know, and that's because of this attachment to this particular music. It probably happened about an hour ago, but they can't let go, they're attached to it, attached to that aversion. And they become whatever they become for that day. The clinging comes becoming, and they are that person for that particular day. And for a person who has met a friend whom they have not seen before, wow, we had a good day, wow, great, you know, think back, you know, wow, that's nice, had a good chat, we can update, you know, that sort of thing, yeah. All because of contact with an object. That's the process of dependent origination. That's how things happen. It's how a condition being, acts, behaves, become. Now, of course, there are things like attachment and aversion, which spoil things for us. We're supposed to do important things, but we get sidetracked. We're averse to that, but we have to do it. So the way we can overcome this conditioning is by understanding this process. When we become an angry person or a person who is totally attached to something, we can drop it at the point where we are attached. We haven't become yet, right? Okay? Now be successful at that. Next time, you make sure you're not attached to it. You might crave for it, right? Well, I like this piece of cake, last piece of cake, I shouldn't have it, So that's the craving, right? We keep looking at the craving, we let the craving subside. Get out of the room, don't look at the cake, do something else. That's one of the ways, letting craving subside, right? And if we are much more skillful, we watch the craving rise, we watch the feeling, wow, that's nice. It's nice. Stop it at that, the craving, Well, understanding, well, it's nice, even after I've eaten it, the satisfaction lasts only that much, that long, right? And then maybe I regret for the rest of the day or the week, So we come to modify our behavior, by understanding the nature of things. That things don't last, feelings don't last, satisfaction don't last, aversion don't last, things don't last. They last because we continue to maintain it. That's how it lasts. Keep thinking, wow, that cake is nice, So why do you keep thinking about it? Or keep disliking the person. Why did he say that? Why did he say that? That kind of thing. Good or bad. So we maintain it. That's what we do. Because we have this attachment to it, I got this strong aversion to it. We hold on to the attachment or the aversion. When we become, that's the time when something happens to us within our consciousness. There is you can call it a seed that's been created. There's a tendency that's been created, that's karma. Right? Karma is action, right? Well, the actual, it's a bit confusing. In the West, we use karma as the result of an action, right? Usually, then you get that karma, but the result of an action is actually called vipaka. But the way karma has been used is that it's the result of an action. The action itself, in Buddhism, is called karma. Intention is karma, right? What the result of karma, the actual word is vipaka, but nobody uses that to call it karma, right? So we use karma as the result of action. So we have these tendencies, because we have become, and this tendency accumulates. And what's wrong with that? Well, tendencies like habit comes up again and again and again and again, So if we do not stop becoming,
then the tendency becomes very strong. Or if we don't check it, we create new tendencies, right? And if the tendency is really strong, we don't see dependent origination at all. It goes straight from contact to becoming. That's why when you see that one of the things that we become very fast is anger. Right? We become angry very fast, you know. We don't see it. There's some people next minute, you know, you can see them throwing things about. What happened there? You know? They become an angry person immediately, you know. Well, for some people, it is like that, you know, because that tendency is very strong. Or when they see the last piece, you know, next minute they know it's in their mouth, you know, what happened, you know. They themselves shocked, you know. Or somebody says something, they like it so much, and then they pick it up, and then they you know, they take it, and then they didn't want to take it, right? But the conditioning is so strong that they take it and pick it up, you know, that's mine, you know. So we have to develop mindfulness, awareness, right, of our action, awareness of our speech, and even better, awareness of our intention, of our thought. Well, the next thing about this karma is that it doesn't go away. It means in there. It means in the consciousness. What happens? It's one of the strongest karma. You can call it volitional intention, right? One of the strongest is self-preservation, right? We have this concept that I exist, I want to exist, I continually want to exist, don't want to die. Even for people who in a state of depression, you know, would not, doesn't want to live, you know, at the last minute, this conditions, self-preservation will come up. This volitional intention, this karma. So because of this self-preservation, this volitional intention to continue living, it is why we make sure we have another place, another body before we leave this body. We make sure our consciousness grab hold of another body before we leave this body. It's just like a monkey, you know, swinging from tree. An example is just like a monkey swings from tree to tree. So, or branches to branches. So before I let go of the previous branch, and make sure that the hand is on the next branch. Or it doesn't, well, for an experienced monkey, they might just swing and make sure it definitely gets the other branch. So that's how we continue, right? From life to life. From life to life. It is very difficult to, if the one thing which we know if we do practice meditation is to see how uncontrollable our mind is. When it attaches to us, something. When it likes something, it just couldn't let go of it. You know, we keep thinking about it. We don't want to think. We are tired. We are all hot thinking about it for about half an hour, but the mind still thinks about it continually. Proliferates on it. Right? That's the nature of mind. Why does it do that? Because it likes this, it's got this energy, it's got this craving, it likes it, it delights in it, it's got passions in it. So it continues. The Buddha says all being subsists on nutriment. Right? We maintain ourselves through nutriment. We continue ourselves through nutriment. We delight in nutriment. When because we are made of both mind and matter, the nutriment for matter, for it to continue, is food. Right? We have to eat every day. Right? We eat every day, right? Just to continue this body. No matter what we do, we must still eat every day. No matter how bad, no matter how busy, we still have to eat. That's it. Continue on. What about the mind? What is the nutriment of mind? Contact is the nutriment of mind. And some of you who is hooked on contact must Facebook every day. You know, Facebook, contact, Facebook every day. It's contact. Bring somebody out. You know, that's contact. If you're not contact, we have this withdrawal symptom. Right? You are addicted to contact. Right? Contact, sense impression. You have to see. Even though, if one of the tortures that have been used is deprivation of senses. You know, that's actually a torture that people do. They kept you in a room, there's all pattern, there's no sound. Switch off the light, you don't see anything, no smell. You know, you can't smell anything, you can't taste anything, you can't touch anything. That is torture. That is actually a torture with the fortunately, we still have a mind. We can contact the mind object. You know, we can dream. We can fantasize. So that's contact. With all the six senses. 5 physical senses and 1. There is another nutriment which is volition, will, volitional intention. That is, we must do something. I want to conquer the world. I want to be something. Creativity, right? Create something. Do something beautiful. You know, make something nice. That is also a nutriment. And the last nutriment, they're all together. Food, contact or sense impressions, volitional intention or volitional thought, will. So this volitional thought or will come out in the world, you know, like, you know, you have people who are conquerors, you have people who climb mountains, you know, all sorts of things, you know, that comes out in this way, some in good ways, some in bad way. And the last one is consciousness. As a nutriment. We want to feel alive. We want this consciousness that exists. We want to be that. We want a spiritual consciousness. We attach to this spiritual consciousness. Or some people are attached to angry consciousness. It makes them feel powerful. They like to feel anger. And people like that. Or people like music. They have a different consciousness with music. transport them to a different world. Talking, everything, they're not saying anything, they're just experiencing the consciousness. And they miss the bus, something like that. So all this hunger for all these things, that drives us to crave for the next existence. So we can enjoy these things again. We can have these things again. Right? That's what they do. Right? Next day, we're thinking, wow, what can I do? What can I enjoy? And if you enjoy it more, you want it again. So it's the same thing. The last moment of death, all this tendency, all this volitional intention is there. It just doesn't go away. If it doesn't go away now, tomorrow, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years of time, what makes you think that it's going to go away the moment the body dies? Right? The body is just a physical thing. The body doesn't crave, it's the mind that craves. The body deteriorates, the mind doesn't deteriorate. Well, it deteriorates, it goes bad, it goes either way, good or bad, The mind is very powerful. If it can't get another body, it creates a body of its own. Right? That's how powerful it is. It creates a mental body. Right? So you have invisible being. So we can be born in 4 ways. Moisture born, that's very primitive. Egg born, do you know about it? Womb born, and spontaneous birth. That's if you become a angel, devas, become godlike, brahmas, that's spontaneous born, spontaneously born. You don't need this body is gross. You have to maintain this body, right? When you become an angel, you don't have to maintain this body that much. You still have to maintain a mental body. You still have to, anyway, I'm told. So we have different bodies. That's the Buddhist cosmology. I've got to make sure what time it is. I just want to finish in time, so okay. Okay, right, yes, fine. Now, independent origination, there are 12 links. I've just mentioned, I think, about 8 links from, depending on contact, feeling arises, depending on feeling, craving arises, depending on craving, attachment arises, clinging, depending on clinging, becoming. And after becoming, we have all this volitional intention, and then there's birth in the next line. From birth comes to old age and death. That is standard. In Buddhism, everything that is born must die. Right?
because of the process of impermanence, process of growth, of stability, and a process of decay. All right? Only that which is unborn will not die. Pretty obvious, you know. It's not born, you know. And that's the last two links. And before contact, there is the other links of dependent origination. Right? First link of dependent origination is depending on ignorance or not knowing, depending on not knowing, there is volitional intention. Depending on volitional intention, consciousness arises. Depending on consciousness, there is name and form. Right? Mind and body. Depending on mind and body, there is six sense space. Depending on six sense space, there is contact. Okay? So, we are now coming to talk about how to escape. Right? How to escape from this continual rebirth. What's wrong with being born? Right? Well, that's in my previous talk about being born is suffering. If we really look at it, right? It is because it's the way we look at the world. I don't think I want to go into that because I've talked about it in my last talk. Because in this talk I'm going to concentrate on just whether there is next line and whether there's past line. And then, and how to exit from this continual rebirth called samsara. Independent origination, sixth sense space is the cause of contact. Mind and body is the cause for the sixth sense space. Volitional intention is the cause of mind and body. It is this volitional intention that creates the consciousness, that creates the mind and body. Now actually mind and body and consciousness must come together. They support one another. Right? Consciousness needs a physical base to land on, to abide in. A physical base needs consciousness, or else it would be just like this table. Right? Can't move. Nothing activates it. It doesn't have a consciousness. And the cause for consciousness is this volitional intention that I've been talking about, self-preservation. This desire for contact, this hunger for contact, this hunger for food, this hunger for consciousness. And what's the cause of volitional intention? The cause of volitional intention is not knowing. And what is it that a being doesn't know? The Four Noble Truths.
basically it comes down to not knowing that there's something that is not born, that is deathless, and is nibbana. Something that's peaceful. Once that is known, right, there would not be any volitional intention to have consciousness and body, because nibbana is the ultimate peace. Nibbana is deathless. Right? So it's not knowing that's called ignorance. But to come to know about nibbana, there is the other three noble truths. That there's dissatisfactory. Everything in this world is dissatisfied. We always dissatisfied. And the cause of dissatisfactoriness is this craving. Once we have it, we're not happy with it. Oh, I say it's good, but not that good. Craving goes for other things out. Wanting things, seeking pleasure, seeking another thing. When the ass at it, not enough. Must look something else. Constantly, that's the craving. That's the second noble truth. Dissatisfactoriness, unsatisfactoriness, suffering, depending on the degree of it, is the first noble truth. Third noble truth is there's something called the unborn, that's permanent, right? Timeless, not of this world. That's nibbana. And the fourth noble truth is the path, the way of getting to know nibbana. That's a practice. Meditation practice. So many different practices. When we come to see consciousness, when we come to understand consciousness, there is a path. There are many paths towards seeing nibbana, right? But one of the paths which will illustrate the see dependent origination directly is the path where we practice concentration meditation. We practice what is called the rupa jhanas, which is first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and then we practice the four arupa jhanas, which is sphere of infinite space, the sphere of infinite consciousness, the sphere of nothingness, and the sphere of minor perception and non-perception. That is very well established even before the Buddhist time. People have practiced that. But what the Buddha taught, which is different from the other religions at that time, is that self is a concept. Right? Self is a concept. Self is a view. Self is a perception. Right? Something that's created. So in looking, in this practice of looking at self And when we come to understand and see that self is created, then we begin to let go of this view of self, this perception of self. That's one thing. And then when we come to see also that whatever we crave for doesn't last so much, that's it, so much. After we have had it, we no longer enjoy it, but other people might like it because they have not had it, you know. So when we come to see the impermanent nature of things, and we come to see that things do not have an essence because they change, then we become to let go of this view, then our volitional intention become less. And when we come to the point where we can see consciousness, we are able to see this volitional intention. Volitional intention is, in a sense, is kind of this big restlessness that we have to do something. You know, let's just go do this, go do that. When we sit, we're restless. You know, do something. So once we let go of this volitional intention, then we find something that permanent and satisfactory, then there would not be any volitional intention to be born again. And we know that. That's a special faculty when we come to that stage. We know for sure that we are not going to be reborn again. It is not that it just happened. It is an insight that we come to know that birth, there's no more rebirth. Now if we come to accept, well, yeah, there's going to be another birth because of these tendencies, this volitional intention, this karma. Then if there's going to be a next life, then there must be a past life, right? If we come to believe that there's going to be a next life, right? And you strongly believe that there is going to be a next life, right? Then the only way to get through to the next life is that we come to the next life through a previous life, right? So if we believe that there's going to be a next life, right, then there must be a past life, right? If you don't believe in the next life, right, then there's no past life. As soon as you believe that there's a next life, then there must be a past life. It's logical. You cannot say, I believe in the next life, without believing in the past life, right? Now, the question is, in the practice of Buddhism, is it necessary to believe all this? Is it necessary to incorporate this idea of next life? We can still practice, you know, looking at just letting go of becoming, letting go of attachment, letting go of craving, letting go of feeling. Is it sufficient to practice that? Well, it is not sufficient in the sense that there's a lot missing in the practice, right? There's a lot missing in the practice when we practice without the view of rebirth. Because rebirth itself, when we come to know of it, it's a scary thing, it's something we do not want. Because there's something much better than rebirth. right? And there's something, rebirth is the crux of Buddhism, because if there is no rebirth, there is no Buddha. Right? The Buddha became a Buddha through all his practices of perfection, through all his training, through many aeons. Right? That's how I became a Buddha. Right? Buddha just doesn't appear like that in one lifetime. You know, doesn't. It's impossible. Right? As the Buddha says, I go through aeons, practice all these 10 paramis, these 10 perfections, perfect each one of them 3 times over. Then I become a Buddha, because I have this determination. And in my determination of the Buddha, becoming a Buddha, another Buddha have looked into the future and, well, have announced that it is possible. So rebirth is very important in Buddhism, because if we do not have rebirth, then it's difficult to account why we are so different. It's difficult to account why some people are further along the path than us, or further behind the path than us, and why they don't even come to see Buddhism as something useful. And without rebirth, we cannot do it in one lifetime. Right? And when the Buddha, when the Buddha gained enlightenment, the Buddha gained enlightenment, the first knowledge he had was all the past lives that he had lived many eons ago. The second knowledge that he had was the arising of beings, how people live their life in the past, pass away, being reborn, pass away in different realms. Right? The Buddha talked about that. In all his teaching, whatever I teach, whatever you practice is good for this lifetime and it's good in the future. Right? So everything has to relate with this life and the next life. And all the suttas in it. Can't get away from it. Right? You can't get away from it. And the most important part is the ultimate end, which itself is not being born again, becoming an arahant. Right? That's the ultimate goal. So everything is geared toward escaping from being born again. And it's when we see that we are liable to be reborn again, that we can't be dispassionate with the life we have now, that we can then go on and practice for something better. Right? Whatever that we have enjoyed in this life, we are going to enjoy in this life, do in this life. Something we've already done many, many lifetimes before. So in most Buddhist thought, it's kind of depressing in a sense, right? And that depression, that will create the urgency for us to start to get on with the practice. So that's the first noble truth, dissatisfaction. So when you come to Buddhist thought, you come to see this dissatisfaction. When we see this dissatisfaction, then only we can start to do something, right? So that's what drives the Buddha to live this comfortable life, to practice, right? To find out what's the cause of all this dissatisfaction. Because he's dissatisfied with the life, he says, well, I'm going to be old, I'm going to die, I'm going to fall sick, that kind of thing. So for us, it's the same. We have to see this dissatisfaction, right? And know it, that there is actually dissatisfaction. All the happiness, temporary happiness, we chase it, they are momentarily, right? Just because you do not want to see this dissatisfaction. So, first noble truth, see this dissatisfaction with this life, have this passion for this life, then we can go on and practice. And practice itself is actually quite enjoyable. You get less and less suffering when we begin to let go of things that cause us great suffering. Our lives become much more even. Think about it.